Alright, so I'm going to show how to replace the screen on this iPhone 6s. So first what you're going to need is the pentalobe. This is a 0.8 pentalobe screwdriver. So just remove the two screws from the bottom. Okay. Alright, if they get stuck, you can use a magnet. This tool has a little magnet built in, so it makes it easy. Alright. Once you get those two screws out, then you'll have to pry out the screen. You'll most likely need a thin pry tool to open this, but you just get in between the screen, okay, and this bezel. So I use like this thin metal pry tool. You can also use a suction cup if it's not broken too much, but most likely you'll have to use a pry tool. So you just go into the gap, okay, lift it up. Once you get that out, you can slide the tool all the way around, okay, just like this. Alright. Okay. There's some adhesive holding this in place, so it might be a little difficult. But once you get that, just lift the screen up at an angle like this. You want to be careful because the cables are attached to the top. After you do that, you want to switch to a small Phillips screwdriver. I don't know what the size of this is, but I think it's like a PH double or 000. But anyways, you want to take the two screws out from this metal plate here. Okay. Alright, then set the metal plate aside. The screws are different sizes and lengths, so make sure not to mix them up. You want to keep them in order. After you do that, make sure you turn off the phone as well. If you can't turn off the phone, then it's okay. Sometimes the screen's broken and you can't turn it off. So first what you want to do is disconnect the battery connector here. Okay, let me see if I can show a close-up of this. The battery connector is here. Okay, so what you do is use your fingernail or plastic pry tool and you just pop up the connector just like that. After you do that, you want to hold the power button down to drain any power from the phone. Okay, so just hold down the power button for about 10-15 seconds. That should drain any power. Alright, and also you'll know if you disconnected the right connector because the screen won't come back on. Okay, so after you've done that, open the thing back up. Now we're going to have to remove the screws from here. Okay, so just remove all 4 screws. Again, you want to keep the screws in order because they are different lengths and different sizes, so you can't just mix them all around. Okay, so that one, you remove this one. Hopefully you can see what I'm removing. Okay, then you remove the 2 at the bottom here. Alright, once you get all those screws out, you can take the metal plate out, set that aside. Alright, now we got to pop up all these connectors here, so same thing with your fingernail or the plastic pry tool, you just pop them up just like this. Okay, alright, and then pop up this one here. Okay, just like that. Alright, and then pop up the last one, just like that. Right, so now you got the screen out. We are going to have to transfer the sensors up here as well as the home button down here. So we'll set this aside. Okay. Alright, so for the sensors, we'll also have to replace this metal plate. So let me zoom out a little bit. Okay, hopefully you can see everything. So there's 3 screws on this side and then 3 screws on this side. So you want to remove all the screws. There's also 1 screw being held up in this area here, so just remove those. Again, keep all the screws in order. You don't want to mix them up. All right. These screws are super tiny, so you kind of want to do this repair somewhere that if you drop the screw, it'll be easy to find. All right. Okay. So now we got the 3 screws. It's actually missing 1 screw at the bottom. I think someone changed the screen before and they lost one. Unless it fell on the phone. Oh, actually, it fell inside the phone. So, okay. So, be sure to check if any screws are missing. Check inside the phone because sometimes they will fall out. Okay. So now we're going to remove the 3 screws down here. Okay. These are holding the fingerprint sensor in place. Alright, so we got those 3 out now. Okay, and then we want to remove the 4 screws at the top here. So there's 3 holding in this metal plate here, so we'll remove those. After you get the 3 out, you can actually remove this metal cover for the camera sensors and the speaker. Right? And then to remove this metal plate, there's 1 more screw here. Uh-oh, it's overheated already? Alright, I'm back. Hopefully it won't overheat too quick. I forgot I was charging my phone with my battery case. But anyways, you want to remove the 1 screw on the side of the thing here. Okay? Alright, and then there's usually some tape here, but I think since someone changed it already, it's already been cut. But usually these black adhesives are attached to the thing down there. So once you do that, you can lift the cover off. Okay. Again, remember if you didn't, you'll have to either peel up these adhesive strips or cut them. Okay, so I'll set that aside. We'll also remove the fingerprint sensor cover. Okay, so to remove the fingerprint sensor on this model, what you do is, let me see if I can show this close up. So you have to be careful because if you just lift up here, it pulls up the connector underneath. So what I do is I use my fingernail to hold the bottom part down, and then my other fingernail to pull the top one out. So just pull on it like this. Let's see here. Okay, just like that, and the connector moves over like that. So this connector is part of the screen, so you can't change that. And then to take the button out, you just from the bottom, you push this out, and it'll pop up like that. You don't want to yank on this piece, otherwise you can tear the cable. So what you want to do is take a needle or something really thin, and then get underneath this piece here. If you can't get underneath this piece here, you can heat the screen from the front with like a hair dryer or a small heater. And then once you do that, you can easily peel that piece off. Okay, so that's how you get the home button, the fingerprint sensor out. All right, then you got this. Just lift the camera up out of this. Make sure not to touch the lens of the camera. Okay, so just push that aside, and then underneath you want to take this the speaker out. Okay, and then this thing is held in place with adhesive as well, so I'm going to try it without the needle, or with the needle. If I can't get it out, I'm going to have to apply some heat, but usually you just pull this up, these sensors will come out. I don't know if you can see it because it's so dark, but you pull those small sensors out, and then after that I use the needle to pull basically the speaker assembly out, and now you have this whole piece. Okay, and then usually you don't want to transfer this speaker grill piece over, so what you have to do is peel this small microphone piece away from the rest of it. Okay, so what you can do, I usually use the needle for this, is I go underneath with the needle, and I have a little bend in the needle so that way I can use the needle towards the back so I don't poke something. and then you can kind of scrape it off just like that. Usually if the phone hasn't been opened before, you will have to use some heat to get it out, or it's going to be very difficult. And this metal piece with the speaker grate, you can just throw it away. Huh, what was that sound? Alright, so now we got the new screen. Alright, so now we have to put these sensors back in the new screen. So usually it will have a little sticker protective piece here, this blue piece. This is what the microphone attaches to. You want to peel that off. Okay, I just use the needle to do that. Alright, and then what you want to do is the microphone here has a little, I don't know if you can even see it, it's so small, but there's a little hole at the top, and that lines up with the little piece of plastic that's sticking up. So you want to put the microphone in and line it up with that. I don't know if I can show this on camera because it's hard to see it myself. Okay, so you gotta line that piece up. Oh, this piece is sticking to it. Okay, get it lined up. Make sure it's lined up properly. There we go. So, and then the edge of the microphone actually lines up with the rubber piece for that piece is where the speaker goes in. Okay, now that you got all those pieces in, you can push the connector down. Okay, and then you want to get the sensors into the little slots where they used to be. Okay, so once you got those sensors in, you have to hold it down and then take the speaker and slide it underneath in place over there. Okay, so, and then you kind of want to wiggle it around, make sure that the speaker is going into the rubber spot. Okay, it's a little bit tricky to get that lined up properly. Let's see here, it's harder to show this on camera. Let's see here, I might have to just assume that you can figure it out, but basically the speaker has this part that's kind of sticking out, and you want that to go into the rubber piece. Okay, so it's hard, I don't know if I can show this on camera, there's too many pieces to hold and make sure that it's in view of the camera, so I'm gonna do what I can. Uh-oh, I'm getting a call. I'll be back. Man, the phone call killed my video. So, okay, let's see if I can get this in. Okay, so you get that lined up. Once you get the speaker lined up, you get the camera into the right spot. Make sure to check all the sensors line up. This little bar across the top has the contacts for the speaker, so make sure that there's two little holes. Make sure that the plastic pieces go through those parts. Alright. And then you can put this piece back on. Just like that. Make sure the extruded plastic pieces go through the holes on the silver part as well. Alright, then we can start putting the screws. So it's a little tricky because you have to hold this piece together while you get the screws. Alright, so while you're pinching that, then you can take the screw and screw that in. Okay, so once you got one, then you can let go. You can grab the other screw, make sure it stays lined up. Okay, and then you can put the other screw. Alright, now let's get the metal plate here. So normally this metal plate goes on the bottom of the fingerprint metal plate, so whoever did this before, I think they did it in the wrong order. But once I put this metal plate in, I like to put the corner screws first. So since it has 6, I'll put in the 4. So I'll put one up here. Hopefully it's all in camera because it's kind of hard to watch what I'm doing while I'm doing this. Alright. Then put one down here. And I put them loosely because you might have to slide it around. Okay. Then I'll take another one and put it up here. Then we'll take the other one, We'll put it down here. Alright, so after you do that, just inspect it, make sure everything's lined up. This metal piece, so the part that's attached to the metal plate needs to go behind the circle that's part of the screen. So make sure when you do that, you have it in the right spot. Then you can put the screw in there. Right, now that you got those in, you can tighten these down. Okay. Tighten the corner screws down. Alright, then grab the other screws that weren't put back yet. So got the middle one here. Alright, get the other middle screw here. Tighten that up as well. Alright, then we gotta put the home button in. So the home button has, on this little sensor, there's 2 holes there that you have to line up with the plastic extrusions here. So just put that in. You might want to peel off the little screen protector that came with it so that you can go from the bottom and pinch it just to align it properly. Okay. Then line up those 2 extrusions like I mentioned earlier. Okay. I'm gonna need some good lighting to see this. It's pretty tough to see, but yeah, make sure they get lined up properly. Hopefully I had that all in view. Sorry if I didn't. And then this piece, you want to push it in. So there's a little plastic piece here that if you push it and tuck it down, it actually holds it in place. And then you can fold this over, make sure it lines up, and then push it down. You'll hear it and feel it click in place. All right. Now we can take the metal plate for this, line it up, and then put the screws in. Okay. Take the one screw there, other screw here. Oops, I didn't tighten that enough. Okay, we can tighten it up. The last screw that was falling out before. Tighten that up there. Okay, there's one more screw from the top sensors that I didn't put back yet, so you want to put that as well. Alright, so now we got all of those screws in. Make sure the home button clicks okay. Okay, feels okay. Seems a little bit sunken in, but that's kind of just how it was, I think. I think I'm just used to the other models. Okay, so now that you got that, you want to reconnect these. Basically just line them up and push them down. Okay, so we got this here. You want to just line them up and then push them down. It can be a little tricky. Just be careful, don't use too much force. Usually you know it's lined up because if you try and move it, it stays in place. And then you can just push it down. But sometimes you don't feel the click, so you have to pull it back out and then redo it. Okay? Make sure the connectors are clean. Make sure there's nothing in there. Okay? Oops. There we go. Okay. Okay, you want to line it up. This is the hardest part, is making sure that they're connected properly. You don't want to try and turn on the phone if it's not connected properly, or you can damage something. Okay, so there you go. Felt it kind of plug in. This one, there you go. This one actually clicks, so it's nice, I can tell. And then the last one, that one clicked as well. Right, once you got all of that connected, then you can plug the battery connector back in, just push it down. All right, and then when you put the screen back in, you want to make sure the top hooks hook in first, okay? and then after that you close it like a clamshell. I'm not going to snap it down because I still have to put the metal covers back on, but we'll turn it on and see if it works. So you see the Apple logo's on, so it should be good. Now we just have to put back on the metal plates to protect it. Okay, so lift it back up. Usually I don't recommend doing this kind of stuff while there's battery power, but they don't give you an option. You kind of have to. You can disconnect the battery one at least. So we'll wait till this is done. Okay, it's asking for the code. So usually once it starts up, I like to at least check, make sure the home button and stuff is all working. So here you can see the numbers are working okay, so it should be good. So after that, I'll turn it back off. Make sure it turns off completely. You should see, or it's not doing it, but you should see a little spinning circle thing here. You probably can't even see that in the camera. Oh, there you go. There you go. You should see that spinning circle, and then once it disappears, you know the phone's off. Okay, spinning. Okay. And then after the phone's off, again, you want to pop up the battery connector. Okay, just pop it back out. Just like that. Press and hold the power button to drain it again. You don't really have to do this, but to be safe, I highly recommend it, because if you drop something in there, then you can actually destroy the phone. Okay, so there you go. It's not turning on anymore, so that's good. Then we'll take the metal plate for these first. Okay, and then take one of the screws, get it on your screwdriver. If your screwdriver isn't magnetic, just rub your screwdriver on a strong magnet and it will magnetize it. All right. So usually what I do is I'll put one screw in the corner first, but loosely, so that way you can kind of move it around. Take another screw. Okay. And then now that it's lined up with one screw, you can tighten that. All right, and then you can tighten both down, because now that you got two screws in, it should have the other two aligned. Okay, so get the other one. This is a much longer screw in this corner. Alright, and then tighten it up. Here we go. And the last screw for that metal plate. Okay, tighten that up as well. If there's dirt inside, just clean it out. Then you got the little metal plate for the battery. So push the battery connector back down, put this metal plate back on. Right, same thing, get one of the screws. Okay, tighten it loosely, get the other screw. Alright, tighten that up. Alright, now that we got that done, sometimes it helps to push the bottom parts in first. So you get the top in, and then you kind of hold the middle so that it kind of bows it outward. That way this bottom half will be able to sit in better. Okay, so push that in. There we go. Same thing with this side. Push that in. And then once you got both the bottom halves in, you can go up the middle. Alright, and then one more time, make sure it turns on and everything works before you put in the screws. Usually, I don't know the pin, but usually if I know the pin, I'll test the speaker up here. There's a sensor up here and then the camera. So I would test the front-facing camera and then make a call and cover the sensor. If the screen goes dark, then you know that everything's working properly. And that's pretty much all there is. Just get the other screws, put them back in. Everything's working. All right. So just get the two screws that were from the bottom, put them back, and you're good to go. All right. So do that. And the other one. All right. So once you got all of that, you're good to go. Hopefully this video helped you. I know this model's pretty old, so it probably didn't really help too many people. But if it did, please like and subscribe, because that'll help me. It'll also help others find this video. And thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.